The story begins with an old lady named Miss Lee, who was traveling out of the city with her grandson, Tom. She was very happy, but suddenly several demons appeared and began attacking them. Miss Lee tried to knock them away by hitting them with her car. Tom, who had no idea what these demons were, watched them with excitement. To help Miss Lee, a group of Zodiac warriors arrived: lion, monkey, dragon, pig, rat, dog, snake, horse, rabbit, and ox, all of whom began fighting those dark forces and demons together. Miss Lee was actually the guardian of the Zodiac warriors who helped protect a sacred locket. Inside that locket lay the power of the most powerful Zodiac sign, the Phoenix. Miss Lee's family had been protecting this sacred locket and the Phoenix's powers for thousands of years, because if it ever fell into the wrong hands, it could destroy the entire world. Now the responsibility was on Miss Lee to keep it safe. Each Zodiac warrior possessed a unique power. For example, Gate could create explosive blasts using only his voice, and Nami the monkey had the ability to shrink and grow her size. All of them were fighting the demons. Miss Lee smiled at the sight of the Zodiac warriors and drove ahead. But a little farther down the road, Miss Lee's car suddenly stopped, and a green smoke began to spread all around. That was when Miss Lou appeared, holding her magical umbrella. The demons who had attacked Miss Lee earlier had all been sent by Miss Lou because she wanted to obtain the Phoenix Stone to gain absolute power and rule the world. Miss Lee, nervous because her friend's son was with her, prepared to fight. Tiger ran toward her to help, but right at that moment the scene cut off. 15 years later, Tom had grown up and was now living with his grandmother in San Francisco. At school, some boys were bullying him, but Tom didn't take them very seriously. During this, he noticed a girl he hadn't seen before. Her name was Rao, and meeting her made Tom very happy. Ignoring the bullies, he started to walk away with her. But when one of those boys insulted Tom's house and called his grandmother a crazy witch, Tom became furious and tried to attack him. Tom fell, and the boy began hitting him. Suddenly, by accident, a magical spell shot out from Tom's hand, sending the boy flying into the school's rooftop railing. Everyone burst out laughing. Tom himself was confused and had no idea how he did that. After school, Rao approached Tom and asked if it was true he had thrown that boy up onto the rooftop. Tom joked that maybe he had eaten too much protein that morning, which gave him that strength. They were talking when Rao's mother arrived in her car. Rao's mother was actually Witch Lu, though Rao didn't know this, nor did she know she was adopted. Rao and Tom began spending a lot of time together and quickly became close friends. When Rao noticed Tom's strange amulet and asked about it, Tom explained that his grandmother made those charms because she believed they kept evil spirits away from their home. That was why their house looked very different from others, almost like a temple, and many people left fruit offerings outside in respect. Tom also told Rao that some people called his grandmother a witch, and sometimes that made him angry. But his grandmother was a good woman who often told him magical stories. Tom walked with Rao until they reached his house, and Miss Lee was happy to see Tom with her. After Rao left, Tom went inside, and his grandmother told him that his parents had met in school just like him and Rao. Tom insisted that this wasn't what she thought. Rao was just a friend, and he was glad Rao didn't come inside because she would have found their house even stranger. Miss Lee gently explained that even if Tom found all this silly, everything inside their home mattered deeply to her. And one day, when the time was right, he would understand who he really was on the inside. Tom said he didn't understand what she was talking about. Miss Lee told him he didn't need to know yet because he still wasn't ready. She reminded him that the boy who attacked him at school probably needed kindness and might be suffering from something himself. Tom asked why she thought that, and Miss Lee explained that people are naturally good. Their family had believed this for thousands of generations. Miss Lee told Tom that he was not an ordinary boy, and she asked him to put the protective talismans back on the door. Obeying his grandmother, Tom went outside and began placing the charms where she told him to. Suddenly, Tiger, named Hugh, jumped down from the roof. He sniffed Tom and immediately called him Stinky, then walked straight into the house to find Miss Lee. Tom was completely shocked when he saw Who because he had no idea who was or what he was. Miss Lee, however, was overjoyed to see him. Who told Miss Lee that he had sensed a magical spell being used, which meant they were now in serious danger. And when he learned that Tom still didn't know anything about himself, especially that he was meant to become a guardian representing one of the 12 Zodiac signs, Who became upset. It also meant the rest of the Zodiac warriors were no longer following the rules he had created. Miss Lee explained that within the Zodiac circle there were 12 guardians, and Who was the head of that circle. In Miss Lee's absence, Who guided everyone else and maintained order. Miss Lee asked Tom what had actually happened at school. Tom confessed everything, that when the boy bullied him, he accidentally used a magical spell and sent him crashing into the school rooftop. Hearing this, Who immediately told Miss Lee they needed to leave the area. Tom, confused, asked who was. Who explained that he was one of the 12 Zodiac warriors who had sworn to protect the Phoenix. Miss Lee suddenly realized that dark forces had finally found them and would attack at any moment. She quickly told Tom to put on his shoes and started creating a magical protection shield to defend them from Lu's demon attack. Within moments, Lu arrived as well. Because Tom had used magic at school, she was able to track his location. Seeing her, Miss Lee pushed Tom and Hu out of the house so Tom could remain safe, deciding to face Lu alone. A fierce battle broke out between Miss Lee and Lu. Meanwhile, Lu's demons began attacking Tom and Hu. Hu transformed into his tiger form and fought the demons, doing everything he could to keep Tom safe. Tom was terrified watching all of this. Inside the magical realm, Miss Lee and Lu's fight intensified. They were transported to a magical dimension during their duel. Lu couldn't overpower Miss Lee and was defeated when Miss Lee attacked her with a powerful spell. By now, Tom had made his way back to the house hoping to reach his grandmother. But before he could reach her, Lu appeared again. She had survived the attack and wasn't dead yet. Lu captured Miss Lee, and just as she attempted to take the Phoenix Stone from her, Miss Lee sent the Phoenix Stone flying toward Tom. Then, using her final spell, she ignited the entire place in flames, sacrificing herself and destroying Lu along with her. Tom watched helplessly as his grandmother died right before his eyes, and he was devastated. Suddenly, Ghost Wen descended from the sky to collect Miss Lee's soul. He was saddened by her death as well, and afterward he took Tom with him to his secret home. Once there, Hu told Tom about the Phoenix Stone. Miss Lee had sacrificed her life to protect it. From the moment the goddess Nua used the Phoenix's power to create the universe, dark forces had been trying to claim the Phoenix Stone to obtain its unimaginable strength. Now the responsibility to guard the Phoenix Stone had passed to Tom. Hearing this, Tom became angry and asked Hu why he didn't save Miss Lee if he really was a Zodiac warrior. Tom tried to storm out, but Hu had already activated a magical barrier on the door. The moment Tom touched it, the spell threw him backward. Hu caught him before he could get hurt, and Tom returned to his room overwhelmed. When Tom lay down on his bed, he instantly entered a magical world where he saw the phoenix bird flying through the sky. He was mesmerized. But in the next moment, the phoenix suddenly transformed into dark energy. After that, Tom saw the goddess Nua standing before him, and she sent him back to the real world. Tom returned to Hu and found him sitting beside Miss Lee's body, crying deeply. Miss Lee's death had completely broken him. The next morning, Hu woke Tom up and began training him to become a true and powerful guardian. He taught Tom how to protect the Phoenix Stone and survive against dark forces. Suddenly, a rat appeared during the training, stealing money from Hu's wallet. Hu immediately transformed into a tiger and caught it. The rat wasn't just any rat. It was another Zodiac warrior named Sydney, who loved stealing things from people. Sydney told Hu and Tom that he had seen Lu near the old Jade Palace, and she looked severely weakened. But when she stepped near the palace's ancient fountain, her powers suddenly returned and she became strong again. Just like before, Hu and Tom were shocked to hear this, because they had believed Lu was completely destroyed with Miss Lee's final spell. Sydney explained that even though he had personally witnessed Lu and Miss Lee dying together in the explosion, Lu was definitely still alive. He told them they had no choice. They needed to gather the rest of the Zodiac warriors, because only together could they stand a chance against Lu. Hu preferred working alone, but after Tom and Sydney insisted, he finally agreed. The group began traveling toward the Zodiac Temple to unite with the remaining warriors. On the way, Lu's demons attacked Tom, Hu, and Sydney again. But just then, Mr. the Dragon appeared. She unleashed her powerful abilities and destroyed the demons within seconds. After recognizing Tom, she told him that from now on, she would be his protector. She said she would personally train him to become a true guardian. Hearing this, Hu became angry because Miss Lee had entrusted Tom's protection to him alone. Next, the group reached Cynthia's shop. Cynthia was a magical frog who disguised herself as a human and ran a small store in the city. She was also the guardian of the Zodiac Temple, which meant Hu and the others needed her help to reach the temple. Cynthia refused to open the door when Hu and Sydney called for her, but when Mr. handed her money, Cynthia immediately opened the shop door, allowing all of them inside. She walked toward a refrigerator in the back, whispered a spell, and opened a magical passage leading to the Zodiac Temple. Tom traveled through the portal along with everyone else, and once they arrived at the temple, Sydney began introducing each Zodiac warrior one by one. Tom was amazed by their appearances and abilities. But when Sydney introduced Tom as their new guardian, Ox became angry. He didn't like the idea of a kid protecting the Phoenix Stone, and he thought Tom was foolish and inexperienced. Ox and Hu immediately began arguing loudly. Seeing the two warriors fight, Monkey used her magic to shrink them both, forcing them to stop. Tom, however, was focused on only one thing: avenging his grandmother. He couldn't wait any longer. While the Zodiac warriors were still busy arguing and debating, Tom slipped away and headed alone toward Lu's haunted palace to kill her and end everything himself. When Who, Monkey, Sydney, and the others realized Tom had left, they rushed after him toward the haunted palace. Tom reached the palace first, and the moment he touched the main door, magic pulled him inside. Inside, he heard a soft singing voice echoing through the hallways. He followed the voice through the corridors until he reached a room, and there he found Rao. Rao had been adopted by Lu long ago. She believed Lu was her real mother and lived with her inside the haunted palace. Lu had used her magical powers to make the ruined palace appear clean, bright, and beautiful, so Rao never felt afraid of the haunted environment. Rao was thrilled to see Tom, but the moment Tom saw Lu, all his anger came rushing back. He attacked her immediately, trying to avenge Miss Lee, but his attacks had no effect. Lu effortlessly captured both Tom and Rao with her magic and demanded that Tom hand over the Phoenix Stone. Tom refused. By then, Who, Sydney, Mr. Dragon, and Monkey arrived and attacked Lu together, but she dodged their attacks with ease. She summoned a huge surge of water inside the room, flooding the entire area and escaping. While the chamber filled quickly, Tom, Who, and the others began drowning. Sydney noticed a tiny drainage pipe with a hole in it. Monkey quickly used her shrinking magic to make everyone small enough to enter the pipe. Dragon placed everyone on her back and swam through the pipeline, guiding them all until they finally escaped the haunted palace. They arrived at Cynthia's shop again, exhausted. Tom took out a jar and revealed the Phoenix Stone he had hidden inside it. Later that night, as they all sat down to eat dinner, they began thinking about their captured friends, the Zodiac warriors who were still trapped inside Lu's magic umbrella. Tom said he wanted to train harder and become a true guardian so he could rescue them. Hearing this, Dragon told Tom that throughout history, Dragon explained to everyone that throughout history, only a guardian could train another guardian. That was the way it had always been, so they all agreed that they had no choice. They must train Tom together. After this, they took Tom into the magical world inside the Zodiac Temple and began training him to fight properly. During training, Who asked Tom whether he could see the Phoenix yet. Tom said no. Hearing this, Who became furious, because until Tom could see the Phoenix and bond with it, he would never become a true guardian. Who's anger left Tom feeling hurt, and he told Dragon that Who didn't like him at all. Dragon explained that this wasn't true. Who cared for him deeply, so deeply that he had once sacrificed himself for Tom. Dragon then told Tom about the incident from 15 years ago, when Lu had attacked Miss Lee on the bridge. During that fight, Who had actually died, but Miss Lee loved Who so much that she gave him part of her own soul. That fragment brought Who back to life, and that was why Who cared for Tom so fiercely. Who carried a piece of Tom's grandmother inside him. If Tom looked closely, he could see a reflection of Miss Lee and Who himself. Hearing this, Tom quietly went to look at Who from a distance. Who was telling the other warriors that even though Tom couldn't see the Phoenix yet, he believed that one day Tom would become a strong guardian. Tom grew emotional, and without telling anyone, he slipped away into the city and walked to his grandmother's ruined house, filled with old memories. Suddenly, Miss Lee appeared in front of him, or at least that's what Tom believed. Overjoyed, Tom rushed to her and asked where she had gone. He had no idea that this wasn't his grandmother at all. It was Lu, who had taken Miss Lee's form to trick Tom and steal the Phoenix Stone. Lu gently asked for the Phoenix Stone, and Tom, still thinking she was his grandmother, was moments away from giving it to her. But Rao suddenly arrived and warned Tom that the woman wasn't his grandmother. It was Lu. Lu then dropped the disguise and showed her true form. Seeing Lu again, Tom attacked her and escaped with Rao, but Lu easily overpowered him and stole the Phoenix Stone before fleeing. When Tom returned to Cynthia's shop, he told Who and Dragon that he had lost the Phoenix Stone. Both of them were completely shocked. Later, Tom sat alone on the rooftop, feeling guilty. Who joined him and told Tom that both he and Miss Lee knew Lu would return one day. That was why they had kept Tom hidden for so long, to protect him. And they had succeeded up to a point. Tom blamed himself, saying that everything had gone wrong the moment he accidentally used a protection spell on that boy at school. Losing the Phoenix Stone made him feel worse than ever. But Who reminded him that Miss Lee had given her life to entrust the Phoenix Stone to Tom, because she believed in him. Hearing this, Tom decided once again to find Lu and recover the Phoenix Stone. That evening, the city gathered together to celebrate the Dragon Festival. In the middle of the crowd, Who told Tom to feel for the Phoenix Stone's energy because it was the only way to locate Lu. Tom focused and quickly sensed the presence of the Phoenix Stone. They identified Lu's location. But before they could attack, Lu revealed her true form and unleashed her demons. who began wreaking havoc across the city. Dragon, Monkey, and Sydney rushed in to fight the demons and destroy them. Meanwhile, Lou climbed to the top of the tallest building in the city. Hu and Tom headed there to stop her. Demons tried to block their path, but Dragon intervened, fighting off the demons to protect their route. Hu and Tom reached the rooftop, where Lou was waiting. A fierce battle began between Hu and Lou. Lou was now incredibly powerful, far stronger than before. Hu couldn't withstand her attacks for long. During the fight, Lou tried to trap Hu and Tom inside her magical umbrella. Just as she had done to the other Zodiac warriors to protect Tom, Hu sacrificed himself and allowed the umbrella to capture him instead. Fueled by grief and rage, Tom attacked Lou. His attack struck hard enough to knock Lou's magical umbrella out of her hands, sending it falling off the building. But Tom could not hold out long either. Lou eventually captured him and told him the truth. The reason she had not killed Tom on the bridge that night years ago was because she had looked into his eyes, and she saw clearly that he was not a guardian. On the other side, Rao, along with Monkey and the remaining Zodiac warriors, managed to free Hu and all the other Zodiac fighters who had been trapped inside Lu's magical umbrella. Once everyone was released, they immediately set out to confront Lu. In the next scene, we see Lu beginning to absorb the souls of all the people in the city into the Phoenix Stone. She was doing this so she could fully obtain the Phoenix's power. Tom, along with his companions, fought their way through Lu's demons and eventually reached the top of the building. Together, they attacked Lu and freed Tom from her control. But by then it was already too late. The sun had set, and the moment darkness fell, Lu gained the full power of the Phoenix. With that power, she quickly defeated Hu and the other young warriors. She then challenged Tom to fight her directly. Tom remembered his grandmother's words, that one should never rely on brute strength, but always listen to the heart. So instead of attacking Lu, he chose to touch the Phoenix Stone instantly. He was transported into a magical dimension. There he saw the Phoenix, trapped and suffering as it struggled against the dark powers surrounding it. Tom rushed forward and embraced the Phoenix. The moment he did, the Phoenix broke free from all of Lu's dark powers and returned to its true form. And because the Phoenix was purified again, Lu, who was touching the Phoenix Stone, was burned and destroyed. She died instantly. With Lu gone, all the souls she had trapped inside the Phoenix Stone returned to their bodies. Rao, along with everyone else in the city, came back to life. But Tom collapsed and fell unconscious. Tumbling off the side of the building, Hu managed to catch him before he hit the ground. However, using the Phoenix's power had killed Tom. Hu was devastated because the piece of Miss Lee's soul inside him made him love Tom deeply. Then, the ghostly carriage arrived to take Tom's soul. After it appeared, all the Zodiac warriors gathered together to perform a ritual, and the carriage took Tom's body into the magical world. There, Hu approached Goddess Nuwa and begged her to heal Tom and bring him back. But Goddess Nuwa explained that because Tom had already died, his body could not be healed or revived the normal way. Hearing this, Hu pleaded with her to merge his soul with Tom's body, exactly like Miss Lee had done 15 years earlier. When she saved Hu by giving him a piece of her own soul, Nuwa listened. She instructed Hu to repeat the sacred chants she spoke. As he did, his soul separated and merged with Tom's body. Moments later, Tom came back to life. When Tom realized that Hu had sacrificed his soul to save him, he hugged Hu tightly. All the Zodiac warriors were overjoyed to see Tom alive again, and they officially accepted him as their guardian. Hu continued to train Tom, determined to help him become an even stronger warrior. During this training, all of them were shocked to discover that because Hu's soul was now joined with Tom's, Tom could transform into a tiger whenever he wished. Tom began living happily with Hu, Rao, and all the Zodiac warriors. And with that, the movie comes to an end. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this thrilling and emotional journey. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Let's aim for 10,000 likes on this video. Your support truly means a lot. And if you still have any questions or theories, drop them in the comments. I'll be there reading everything. I'll see you all very soon with another epic story. Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and keep watching.